Today we're going to talk about 100 Thieves, and in particular a couple rounds from that game on Lotus versus KRU. Now, any of you who have watched a game of Lotus Pro Valorant before, you will recognize this. 100 Thieves are on the attack side, KRU are on the defensive side, and here is round number 5. And this round is just an example of how a lot of the half played out, pretty much. 100 Thieves, they're going to default out towards C. You got Bang here over towards A, and KRU in their defensive setup have their Raze Fade Omen here out towards A, and they're going to start with, a nade and a seize and a one way and a fade haunt, right? All stuff that I'm sure anyone who's watched enough of Lotus, you will have seen this kind of setup happen a lot, right? This is very, very common stuff, and it happens all the time. And this was how a lot of this half played out. And in fact, it got to the point where if we take a look at round number 8, it almost becomes like an automatic dance here. This one is slightly different because we have the Omen over towards C instead, but it's going to be a similar principle here from KRU, where they're going to throw a Fade Horn and a Boombot this time out towards A. And you might have just seen there for just a brief frame, I'll play it again this 5 seconds of the round starting, a brief frame of a Fade Horn flicking in here, and Bang just instantly destroys it there, right? So this is how the game was going at the start of these rounds. There was much of a back and forth, that was just constantly going on with these Fade Horns out towards A. Nothing unusual. But now let's come to round number 9. And this is one of the rounds that I'm going to show you. And I just want to remind you all, 100 Thieves lost this map 13-11. Very, very close. Every round mattered. And this really got to me. Because what happens in this round is KRU actually have a different setup here, right? And again, I just want to say that if you go through this VOD up to this round, there's only one round where KRU did not throw a kind of early Fade Horn or some Fade utility or some utility out towards A from an Omen, Raze, or Fade. And that was round 3, their bonus round, where they had the 3 players stacked towards C instead, right? That was the only round up to this point, which was a bonus round, that they didn't throw any util out towards A early in the round. This round, round number 9, as you can see, we aren't going to do that as KRU, right? We aren't doing that. Instead, we've got this kind of stack here. We Omen one way out towards C instead, and we actually have this triple stack in towards B. And this is where I lost my mind, because take a look at Bang. He doesn't see any util come out here towards A for like the first time in the entire game. And okay, maybe he's suspicious that maybe they're just silently walking up. Right? Maybe he thinks, well, these guys have got me. They're just silently walking up. But when you've got an Omen one way here instead, and you have no Omen one way here whatsoever, I don't understand this. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to say it's necessarily all Bang's fault. I'm not sure if it is or not, because I don't know. Maybe Bang's been told, don't walk out A on your own. But, maybe that's what he's been told. But at a certain point, when you've had they've literally only showed you, like, there's constant util out here at the start of the round, and then they don't, maybe you might want to go and check why that is, and realize that, oh, this is the weak side of the map. And instead, and in this round, by the way, KRU are on an eco, right? So we're on an eco, we've only got one gun here, and in my opinion, this isn't even good by KRU, because in my opinion, when they're going for this sort of idea, they could potentially throw a Fade Horn anyway from B to A, and have a Fade Horn out here and make it look like there's still some pressure out towards A. They don't, and that should make it at least, somewhat potential for 100 Thieves to realize that, hey, I could just walk down here, and these guys can still default towards C. That's absolutely fine. There's no problem with, starting out towards C and, like seeing what's going on, and then, you see a lot of danger, but hey, Bang's walked up all the way A, so we know we can always come back here and then just go from there, right? That's fine. But we don't do that, and this happens instead.
E for the long. Piss around setup pretty much now for KRU. The difference is they don't have the alarm bot out towards the B main, so they do have some players needed to face that angle. And the jump spot, you see it from the minimap coming out here from MTA, so all of this pressure might be good because this is the perfect stack on this orb tap. Door, although not being broken up. You're waiting for the turret to actually initiate that. There's the paranoia, but Asano with the judge close range, and there's the swing out the door. That's a spike down, and a beautiful setup by KRU to shut down 100 Thieves on that control of the C-Mound. Although here's the push at the door. MT misses that cross, giving a chance now for Bang for that fight. There's that headshot onto against it. And Bucio's now alone in the back one. Boy, he's crouching down.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the specifics here as well, because here's one thing that I think might have cost them this round also. The fact that Asuna has a judge. Now, he also has the spike, which makes me think that probably this is just like a C hit, and there is no cancel option, and they must go C. Which, when you're playing against an eco, isn't great anyway. But I think that this, Asuna's got a judge, so we have to just run it in C. Kind of maybe got them as well. Also, it's nice by KRU, right? You don't often see this Killjoy turret being in here, right? This is not something that you commonly see, and it's a nice execution of this trap play. It's good by KRU. I'm not going to say that it's not. Again, I feel like they could have disguised it a bit better, but the actual execution of the trap play was good, right? And they won the round deservedly. But I do have to question that we just don't feel ever brave enough to lurk out towards A. And I'm going to show you a clip of Munchkin doing it here against G2 at Shanghai. Munchkin, who I think is one of the best of doing this, to be honest, finding his timings, realizing when a setup, allows him to do this kind of thing, and just watch this round, right? So he's patient initially. He's just literally staring at this angle and just kind of watching it down there, and the rest of the team is defaulting towards kind of C and B, as you can see there, like 100 Thieves are doing. But look, I mean, there actually is 3 players here this time, so he actually is walking into kind of the strong side. But look how far he goes. Look at him go here, Munchkin. Look at him go. Look at this. I mean, this is braver than most people would be. Most people wouldn't come this deep. Most people would just kind of chill in this angle, but Munchkin is willing to, do this. And that means that they know that they can threaten this. They can pressure this Gen G, but their call is very obvious, right? Either, let's say they get a kill here. Okay, maybe we'll go to C and then we have an incredible lurk. Or if you guys don't like it, you can always come back because we have so much space here, right? We have so much space in this area. And so, it really just means that we have almost an auto round, and we end up in this spot for Munchkin. And now, this is a round that Gen G will win. But if it happened once, it's just a mistake. But it didn't happen just once, because then we come to round 12. And by the way, in round 10 and 11, the 2 rounds in between this, KRU again just did the normal A defensive setup, throw Fade Util out towards A, throw a Raise Nade, all that kind of stuff. Round number 12, what happens? Let's take a look.
The alarm bot goes back in front of B, but there's no turret to watch the C side, so the paranoia throw and the pinch could potentially be made off the tap of an orb. Again, leverage and a Nightfall of heat on top of that. And there it is. Paranoia, Nightfall, hits so many players, and there's a deep look from Bang to try to win that fight. 2 players now falling down for the Thieves, and a huge advantage for KRU to start.
Again, I'm not in the comms. I don't know, what the setup has been, what their anti-strat has told them to do or whatever. But again, we ended up with the map looking like this. And you see that they run into almost the exact same trap play pretty much. And again, just take a look at it. So you have to consider Bang here, right? There's been literally 2 rounds where they haven't thrown stuff out towards A early on in the round. One of them was a bonus round. One of them was a trap play on B and C. But both times, the strong side was on C, right? They have never just silently walked up here. No util. Not once in 11 rounds. So again, we see nothing out towards A. There is nothing there. He actually gets ahead of the Viper wall. He still has seen nothing, right? I'm almost certain he can't see this Viper here, right? So he sees nothing. But then he comes back anyway. Why? What? Like, why? Like, you've seen nothing out here, right? And again, just using the prior 11 rounds of knowledge. What? And again, from KRU's perspective, I would say, KRU, you're being too obvious. You're being too obvious here that there's nothing there, right? Because again, you could throw a Fade Haunt across from B, and make it look like there actually is still some pressure out towards A, right? You could do that, but they don't. And then we run into the same problem. Now, again, I don't know if, hey, again, we've got Killjoy lockdown, we're just going C. Right, there is just no other call on the play sheet. There is nothing else for us to do. We got Killjoy lockdown. We're going to see. Don't care. Right, they try and get the ult orb. Okay, fair enough. And again, it's a nice trap play by KRU. I'm not going to say that it's not. Right, but this, Bang, he's just not close enough to do that either. Really, I mean, the time is kind of long gone, and Kesnit's holding for it. And then obviously we're in a bad spot for 100 Thieves, and they end up losing the round. And again, 100 Thieves lost this game 13-11 and didn't make it to champs. Now, I know on Ascent they also played a very close game and it could have been there. And again, you could look at individual rounds and be like, oh, if we just didn't do that and whatnot. But this was just like so frustrating that not once, never once in this game did Bang feel like I can walk out here on A. You know, I can go and take space on my own and make a real difference in a round. He never once did it, which is really, you know, one of the main benefits of Viper is anytime that they don't get aggressive on you towards A, you can perhaps feel like you are safe enough with the Viper wall, you know, to get to this spot and then go from there.